Hi, and welcome to my second recording. Where obviously, last week was Christmas, and today is the 1st of January. So Happy New Year's. Basically, again, I'm just gonna start talking. Last week was completely off the cusp. Had no idea what I was talking about. It was just basically coming from the heart of, hey, I'm struggling. I need something to do. This is a career and a passion of mine that I want to get into the whole film, recording, audio. Like, I'm really not even sure what it is. I just know I sort of want to be in this general industry. And so a part of that is me working towards doing that now. Cool. So just, see, like, I'm playing with the light and stuff. As you can tell, look, room, bit messy, bit much the same. It obviously sort of showing what's going on inside my head and where we're at. But I've got up a work desk behind us with what I'm actually doing. So I have actually started on a few different projects, and basically, this is where I'm talking about. This is where I'm getting into. So a couple of the projects that I've started, right? One of them, I'm doing some voiceover work for some animation. That I've started, and that's going to be on a completely different channel that I want to sort of again keep pretty secret from this one. And the point of that channel is to tell stories through an artistic way of I like to draw, I like to create in that regard, and then I sort of want to link that with ideas and stories in a voiceover sort of fashion. And we'll see where that project goes, if at all it is. But so I've done the brainstorming for that, and it's just going to start coming down to figuring out actually how to put it all together and make something happen before you get a final product, and then obviously that's going to be uploaded to that channel eventually, and then from there I'm going to obviously try and look at it, see some feedback, see how I feel about it, and see if that's a project I want to continue. But at least it's a start that I've decided, hey, that's something that's simple that I can get started in and work from there. I also want to do something on this channel, which, besides obviously me just ranting about this, is I want to look at a lot of the other work that I've done previously in my life, with some acting and some previous recordings, and I'm thinking of uploading them every once in a while, just to sort of see how I feel about them being thrown out into the ether. Previous auditions that I've done that obviously weren't successful, and obviously finding out how I feel about some of the other personal recordings that I've done that I'm interested in, just sort of chucking up here and seeing how I feel about just building into my public profile as a creator. And that's part of what this is that it's not so much necessarily for clout and to try and make this channel grow or anything like that, but for me as a creator to learn what that means to be putting things out there, whether they are going to be received well or even seen at all, and judging how that goes, you see how that sits with me. I'm going to sort of see whether I have a feel for the industry, feel if this is something that I'm going into shallow, whether I need to go harder at it, whether or not I'm just not cut out for it, right? And so you don't know until you give it a go. You don't know what you don't know. And at this stage, a lot of the work that I've done, I've sort of been not so much ashamed of, but I have felt afraid to put it out there. Apart from especially when you do make an audition tape, you put time and effort into practicing, rehearsing, and reading the script and putting the audition out there, and then it's unsuccessful, and you kind of think, well, obviously if the people who were casting didn't think that you were good enough, well, heck, why would I think that I'm good enough myself? And I think upon a better reflection, you look at that work and you think, well, actually the most important part is that self-confidence, that self-belief, be a self-promoter. And so if putting them out there on this channel, goes somewhere, great. If it goes nowhere, then great. At least I've put it out there, and that's sort of where we sit. That's where I sit personally. The other thing that I want to do is I want to start a podcast, because I want to practice a lot of the audio recording and manipulation and overlay and editing, and seeing sort of how all that goes. And so while I do that I'm going to put on this channel as well, a bit more of a public thing, as opposed to, and then those skills hopefully I can understand a bit more about audio recording and overlaying that with film. So obviously with the podcast it's going to be by itself, and then obviously with the first project I mentioned, with some of the drawing, I'm going to have to figure out how to match up, the animation with the vocalization and the audio, to make that product come together. So that's the first one that I'm really passionate about, is the thing that I want to put out there. But obviously, to get there and to get that to be at the level that I would like it to come out at, I have to obviously understand how to do the audio side of that, as well as the production side of this whole area, right? So those are some of the projects that I'm looking at. Last week, when I obviously came into this, I had no script, no idea about what I was doing, just, again, sort of rambled and sort of threw things out there, and now I've had to think about that, I've reflected on it, I've looked at it, and I've gone, okay, well, these are some of the projects that I'm happy to start with and see where they go, and just work on it from there, alright? And so, as you can sort of see, I wrote a script, more so jotting ideas down, whereas last week, speaking completely off the cusp. This time round, I'm quite happy to say that I've done a bit of work in looking at things, and so like what I've learned is obviously writing scripts, looking at storyboards, looking at recurring themes, motives, ideas, and then obviously all of that encompassed in what you would call the production, which basically comes down to the preparation of all of it, the execution of what you're trying to accomplish, and then sort of the post-work, or post-production, so the editing, making sure that everything is all aligned. So this, which is basically just a simple click record on the camera, talk, have a microphone, have a camera, look into the camera, speak, try to be myself, get used to obviously being on camera a bit more, talking to it as opposed to either talking at it or looking at the screen that I can see where obviously the cameras are in different positions. I might get a few more cameras, see how that happens, different lighting, clean up the room. We'll eventually turn this into some kind of production system. And so all in all, that's kind of where I sit with looking at some of the stuff moving forward, and where I'm at. Again, this is for me to be accountable, if to no one else, to myself, that if I can look back at a year from now and all of these videos have no views, I'll be okay with that, but there will be a body of work that has views out there, and so that's more there will be a body of work that has been put out there over time, and that's sort of where I'm looking at. They're all going to have at least one view, because I will go back and watch them myself and just see how much of a big dingus I am, but that's kind of the point of this channel, the point of why I'm doing this, is to be accountable to the ether, to you, whoever you are out there. This is me, this is what I'm up, this is what I'm trying to do, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, and that's it for the film side of things, right? And the last thing that I want to touch on is a bit of life, right? I have come to this because I have felt sort of trapped, unfulfilled, and like someone who wants to accomplish something in life and they haven't really accomplished anything, and that's how I feel. And I spoke last week, which was obviously last year, at Christmas time, where I had felt really bad, really depressed, and it was basically me saying, I can't live in the situation that I'm in, and I have to do something about it, because I can't just sit here, whether it's existing in that situation, doing nothing, or making a plan and trying to get your way out of it, whether it's being physically in your body and going to be active, going for a run, or whether it's talking to a therapist or a counsellor, or whether it's doing what I'm doing here and throwing myself into a project, or a series of projects, or a new way of thinking about life, right? And so that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm not feeling great, but I am doing something, and it gets my mind out of the space of not feeling great, and it is alleviating some of those pressures, and I feel better for doing things. Like I'm not cured, I'm not there yet, I still have a lot of issues that I'm dealing with at the time being, and how I feel about certain things, but I know that the very fact that I am keeping up with this, being busy is keeping me sane, and I appreciate that fact. So look, that's where we're at for this week. Hopefully in the next week or two I'm able to put up something, whether it's a video or or a podcast recording or something that isn't just the behind the scenes sort of discussion that I'm doing here. Hopefully some of them are actually scenes, and we'll go from there. So thank you everyone who might be watching this in the future, or ever, if at all, or even me as I watch this again. Hi, thank you, keep it up, buddy. That's kind of just where we're at. So smile, try to stay positive, and when in doubt, just keep moving. Okay, sweet, thanks, have a good one, bye.